Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It's a pleasure to be back in Riyadh. I've been coming to the Gulf since 1991. So some of you were not born. You were very, very young, Miriam, then. Were you born in 91? And I've seen the development, of course, of the countries, of the various countries, and I've been blown away by the progress and the transformation, in particular in Saudi Arabia in the last 10 years. And the reason why I'm here, and thank you very much for the opportunity, is a privilege to try to condense within 10 minutes what I've been studying and working on for the last 25 years now, which is the flexible office space, the various trends over the last quarter of a century. I'm Italian originally, from a small town near Venice, but I've actually been based in London for almost 30 years. London, a big capital, with a lot of new trends, in particular in the flex space. And I set up my first business, the first co-working space, in 2002. Wow. We discussed in these days, and I know it's been a very long 2 days. This is the last presentation. I'll try to make it very clear. We discussed a lot about the present and the future, the technology, but let's go through a little bit of history. What is flexible office space? Is the possibility of using a platform, using an office space for an hour, for a day, for a month, on a very flexible basis, so not committing yourself for 25 years. 25 years, in fact, when I started this business, was the traditional lease term. So as a company, you would budget for a quarter of a century and be committed to a space, a fixed space, for a certain number of employees for a quarter of a century. Imagine. And even up to a couple of years ago, I sometimes come across some leases, some property commitment that were signed a quarter of a century ago. Imagine, now with artificial intelligence, with the change of technology, everything moving to digital, of course, you don't know what's going to happen maybe next month, let alone in the next 25 years. So the serviced office, as it is called in the UK, or business centers, more the American term, started really in the 60s with few operators. The focus was on convenience. The market at the time was mostly the SME sector. Then in the 90s and in the late century, last century, you had some big chains started to develop. Servcorp from Australia, for example, they have a presence also here. We're one of the first operator to standardize the product. And of course, IWG Group, the leading operator with 4,000 locations now, started towards the end of last century. And they set up bases worldwide. Then, in early 2000, there was the emergence of a new concept, the co-working sector. Co-working, what is co-working? E-Office is one of the first operators, opened in 2002. When we launched, we had a 10,000 square feet open plan environment. We didn't know the name co-working. And we had to market our service as open plan office with meeting room. The focus was very much on community. The focus was very much on targeting the freelance economy, startups, small businesses. The key difference was really this community focus, the flexible memberships, the fact that you were not necessarily isolated in a private office, but you could connect with other professionals and other companies and try to grow your business. Then there was a financial crisis in 2008, 2009, which impacted the sector, the real estate sector. All of a sudden, we went through a phase of lower interest rates, and a big push towards technology investment. A lot of new funds were set up. And that's when there was another boom, and there was another push towards flexible space. You may have heard about a big operator that started and launched with mixed success. WeWork, financed partly by SoftBank. They raised over $10 billion. Most of it is actually evaporated over, for a number of reasons, but they established clearly a big blueprint worldwide, and that really was the big wave of a number of co-working operators throughout the world. This continued to grow over the decade, and with the emergence of new solutions like managed office solutions, by which company would take entire wings, entire floors that were fully furnished. Then, of course, COVID started. There was a difficult time because nobody could go to the office any longer. But then company really tried to focus on how to give the remote tools to allow employees to connect to the company information via the cloud. And as COVID luckily declined and people started to go back to the office, then this flexibility trend emerged. So nowadays, are we okay? Flex is no more a niche and is actually a reality. JLL, in one of the recent studies, mentioned that probably 30% of the office space will be flexible in the future. So now,
the lights
the market,
crazy.
as long as they fall down, we're okay.
It's like a rock show here.
So the market now
exactly.
is estimated to be $200 billion and growing. See the growth. And there are more than 5 million people working in flexible office space, and there are over 30,000 operators worldwide.
Wow.
So what is the main, one of the main strategies of corporates in one of the recent surveys by Cushman and Wakefield, 57% of the companies will have flex as a real estate strategy. That, of course, changes, has got different percentages on different regions. Some of the main drivers for occupiers, the desire of geographical agility, talent attraction with a lot of amenities, technology enable flexible access, and also time occupancy, lower, most importantly, lower upfront capex compared to the traditional lease fit out.
Okay.
So some of the trends now.
We've got a minute left, Pierre.
Wow. I have to be quick.
You can have a minute and a half because I'm feeling
Okay,
generous.
great. So some of the trends, of course, are flight on quality, the impact on hybrid work, new technology like video conferencing, sustainability and wellness is very, very important, and tech integration within the workplace. Of course, the impact on AI. Do I really have only a minute left?
I mean, that will be your 10. I mean, I know you've been up against it with the dancing
So,
lights.
major structural shifts from a pure SME focus to more enterprise demand, from independent co-working to a more hybridized portfolio approach. So the core office space and then the managed space as a secondary strategy. And this is becoming a lifestyle product. Final takeaways, the market evolved from a convenience service to a strategic real estate product. COVID hasn't killed flex space. It accelerated actually corporate adaptation. And I just want to give you some case studies of some very great tech hubs. This is Station F in Paris, the largest startup campus in the world, opened a few years ago. A very interesting concept not far from here is a members club, lifestyle driven with co-working space. A brand new Life and Mind building in Oxford for the educational purposes. You have Victoria House, which is a life center of 30,000 square meters, opened a few months ago. A very interesting new future projects in Tallinn, and also in a small village near St. Moritz, which integrates well-being, co-living, co-working, event space, retail, and of course access to good skin and the nature.